What's going on, guys? Jose here with another windshield installation video, this time on an 07 through 2018 Jeep Wrangler. Today we will be using domestic part number 1668 GBN. I did go with the shaded blue tint windshield instead of going with the one clear piece of glass windshield. Again, I will be showing you the best method to cut this out, in my opinion. There's in this Jeep Wrangler, I do not recommend using a cold knife. You run too much risk of scraping paint around the windshield area, and that's something you do not want to cause whatsoever. My method can also do the same thing, but it's a lot less of a risk. We are going to use wire to cut this windshield out. It's a little bit more work, but it is more effective and quicker if you do it correctly. You can also use the string method, but it is hard to get that string out of the the urethane to the other side, to the outside. So in my opinion, the wire method is a lot quicker, and if done right, it can be done a lot more efficiently as well. No windshield wipers removed either. The only thing really you need to remove is the antenna and the rearview mirror. That's it. Torque 15 is usually what you're going to need when it comes to removing the rearview mirror on most of these Jeep Wranglers, unless they did modify it a little bit. Luckily, this Jeep didn't have anything special, any special attachments on the body or light bar, so we got kind of lucky there. He did say he removed it after a while because of air noises that were given off by those light bars. Alright guys, well, let's go ahead and get started and show you how exactly what went on. Alright guys, before we get started, as always, every windshield we do clean it very well on the inside layer, the inside of the glass, and then what we do, we always add a layer of primer around the edge. Be very cautious when adding the primer that you don't prime the very tip of the glass where it's white and black meet, the ceramic foot band and the edge of the glass meet. It's very important not to prime that part, or you'll end up getting kind of like an ugly windshield on the edges. And again, customers can get very picky on that, especially when it comes to their Jeeps. So make sure you do about an inch all the way around the edge of that black ceramic foot band, close to that clear edge part of the glass. Again, we always prime our glass to get that nice secure bond with the urethane and the glass. Alright, so now the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and get that rear view mirror out of the way. Using a simple Torque 15 or an H4 should be the best method. A little socket of a Torque 15 is the best way. Or if you have a little specialty tool that has an end of a Torque 15, you should easily be able to remove it. A few little turns. No need to take the whole screw out. Just a few little turns. Wiggle the rearview mirror and then swipe it up, and it should pop right up. There you go. Also, one thing to note: if you are going to hand wire, please make sure the interior trim is not too tight against the glass. Also, go ahead and take off those stickers, oil sticker or any other stickers that the Jeep owners might have. Again, please measure with your fingers that you have enough room for that wire. It will not damage. Luckily, I did have enough room, so I did not need to use any protectors. There was enough room for the wire to be able to fly through there. Now go ahead and getting that wire set up. First thing I'm going to do is move the wiper blades out of the way. I do not need to take off the wiper blades. There's enough clearance enough to put that glass in there. I could not reach the other wiper, so what we're going to do is go ahead and gently place that first handle on the cowl right there and get that wire around the bottom corner. Go ahead and put it in. There's enough room as well for that wire to easily slip in there. The antenna's in the way, but I will remove the antenna once I get the wire in there. Go ahead and get the top as well. Make sure you're underneath both layers of the glass, or you'll end up cutting in between the glass, and that's something that will cause a lot of cleanup after. The antenna luckily was easily to screw off. Be gentle again with a lot of these parts off the Jeeps, guys. You want to be very courteous. Treat it as if it was your own. Alright, now here comes the fun part. Go ahead and raise the other wiper out of the way. We're going to be using the door as leverage, so keep us safe and stable while we're doing this. Reach over and go ahead and grab either the top or the bottom first, but make sure you don't just make sure you go ahead and pull it up. Now the way you want to do this is real quick. You want to go ahead and kind of cut in a V way. V going Y toward the other side. So go back and forth, back and forth. Again, the hardest part is getting around the two corners. You must keep going until you get past both two corners. If you stop before you get through the whole end of the glass, you're going to end up getting the wire cold, and it's going to take you a lot more trouble to pull out. It's going to end up getting stuck. Right now, while the wire is hot, you want to just keep going, push through it. You'll end up getting a little tired, but just keep going, and once you get through that, you can take a break. But right now, it did fight me. It was about 1.5 inches of urethane on that edge, so it was fighting me for a little bit, and I was getting pretty tired. You guys can see I start slowing down a little bit and start going, because I knew if I stopped, I was going to end up the wire was going to end up getting stuck. And as you can see, we still keep going, keep going. As soon as you saw that little jump, we're in there. You guys can somewhat see the wire. We're going, we're going, we're going, we're going. And now we have to come to a pause because we are getting close to the rearview mirror button. To avoid the rearview mirror button, once your wire touches that rearview mirror button, you're gonna have to go back inside and just kind of pop it over that. Again, guys, you want to make sure you're cutting in the V. Okay, do not cut straight. More of a V, but be courteous to the glass because the glass can also jump and cut your wire. So that sticker ended up getting stuck in my hand. As you can see, the rearview mirror button got tangled up the wire for a second. I'm gonna go ahead and just move it out of the way, move my wire out, jump it. Then we go back to it. Now you guys can tell that the wire did get cool for a second, so it's gonna take me a little while just to get started again. But we're back at it. So what we're gonna do is kind of just get ourselves set up there. What behind the door? I ended up actually getting out of the door and using the side step as my leverage this time. Since we're so close, I won't fall. Just took one little step there, leaning back just a little bit with my other foot ready to go in case I was to fall. There's that cutting method. If this is your first time trying, guys, I'm going to show you how to be safe when it comes to those corners. You want to be about an inch away from that exterior side pillar. Okay, I have my assistant holding the other glass so it doesn't fall out. Luckily, it's at an angle so it shouldn't fall out. If you are unsure about, if you're feeling unsafe about that, go ahead and grab some pieces of tape. I did not have my roll of tape there ready to go, so what I did was just peel off on the new glass. What we're going to do is go ahead and trim those sides. Put some tape on those sides, just to let me know that if I see that tape move, I am cutting too close to the body. The moment I see that, I will actually go ahead and switch it up. Again, please, if this is your first time, please put some tape there. 2 layers of tape over it. I'm just doing this as an example for you guys to see how I do it. Put some on the top corner, bottom corner, wherever you're going to finish. No need to put at the beginning of it. And if you're cutting in the way of the V starting the V towards you, the bottom of the V, the pointy part, you should be more than clear when it comes to the other parts of the pinch weld. I mean the pillars. The last thing you want to do is ruin someone's new paint job, so that's very important. Now once you get to that last part, you're gonna have to just try and get around. You're gonna have to switch hands. Notice that I switch hands on those hand levers. So now I'm kind of doing a little opposite. The reason for this is because I want to finish the top to bottom. So the top's gonna go there. Again, look at the way I am pulling that wire. We're gonna go back and forth slowly. Back, forth slowly. There's no rush. We're already done. Make sure that bottom is still at an angle, but you are not touching the paint again. As you can tell, we're just going to keep going slowly. Please make sure you're wearing eye protection because you run the risk of the wire hitting you in the face, and the last thing you want to do is lose an eye. The wire is very sharp, guys. Again, that wire is very sharp. And as for the measurement of how much wire you need, you just need enough to go around half of the windshield is pretty much all you need. About half, about 40 to 50% of the windshield to wrap around it, and that's pretty much all you need. We're going to go back and look to make sure I did not damage that interior trim, and the interior trim actually looks fine. It did kind of touch it a little bit, but not enough to where if it caused a drastic amount of damage. It actually was very fine. And that's the reason why we got stuck. We took us forever. It was because that urethane was about an inch, a little over an inch thick of width right there. I'm gonna go ahead and peel the tape off because, like I said, I just used that as an example to show you guys how to avoid or how to let you know when you are getting too close to that side pillars. Alright guys, now we're going to start the process of skinning down that old urethane to a nice little measurement. Notice how I am holding the knife with 2 hands. I'm trying to control that blade to the best of my ability because that pinch weld is so important and the side pillar is so important. I run the risk of just having that knife jump on me and end up cutting or scraping some paint off, and that's the last thing I want to do. So what you want to do is just scrape as much to that 1 to 2 millimeter height of urethane and just proceed from there. Just go slow, don't rush. There's no reason to rush. So what we're going to do is just take our time and just kind of trim. I'm sorry about the angle of the knife, but you pretty much get the idea. Just be as cautious as you possibly can when it comes to trimming that urethane. There's no need to rush when it comes to it. And just on those corners especially, that can be the hardest part. Just do about half of those corners and then go jump from the other side of that corner and you should be able to easily trim that off. They do sell some of those utility knives, do a pretty good job with this. But like I said, you just want to be super careful not to cut that interior trim as well. It's plastic and plastic can easily get cut. Alright. Now comes the tricky part, guys, is the actual shooting of the new urethane onto the body. Again, I always will shoot the body when it comes to most of my vehicles. I will normally never shoot the glass unless it's something kind of weird where I can't avoid shooting that that glass. But here we're going to shoot the body. Be very careful where you start your seams and where you end your seams, guys. You want to make it as unnoticeable as you possibly can for your customer, especially because the pinch weld's right in their face. Even that plastic trim has trouble covering up some of that new urethane look, so you want to make it look just like it did before. So what I typically do was I'll go ahead and start on the bottom, of course. We're gonna go ahead and start shooting the bottom, and we're gonna end close to that bottom corner. Okay. I apologize about the camera angle, but you'll get to see. I'm gonna stretch out as far as I possibly can. I'm gonna be a little uncomfortable, but the reason is, again, you don't want that seam in the middle. You want it as far away from the driver's sight as possible. So we're gonna go ahead and shoot it. Again, I am kind of uncomfortable, but I am taking my time on this this bead. Again, make sure you have that V as straight as possible. I will come to an end right about 2 inches or 2 inches from that corner, right before it starts to curl. And the reason is, again, I don't want that seam to be seen anywhere. I must again stretch as far as I can. I'm actually gonna hop off from close that door and get out of that little area and go on the side step so I can reach a little bit more farther and be more comfortable. I run the risk of falling, but I'll take that risk because I can get more of a reach for that new urethane bead. As you can tell, we're going to take our time. Just gonna take it slow. No need to rush. You do have a skin time of 10 minutes. 10 minutes is more than enough time to be shooting that bead. If you're taking longer than 10 minutes, you probably need to slow it down. You probably need to hurry it up a little bit. Sorry. Again, keep that nice bead as straight as possible. Go around that curve slowly. You want to get that nice little curve going on. Again, I apologize about that bottom angle, but you'll see where I end the seam at the very end. And then we're back to about 60% of the windshield already being shot. That seam should be close to the end of that corner, but not actually on that corner. If you make the seam too big, you have a chance of it spewing out. And the last thing you want to do is having to clean up. It's a very uncomfortable cleanup. And again, that edge of the new glass has to stay clear, and you do not want either primer or urethane in the way because it will not look very appealing. For this, you barely want to go over a little bit on that on the top bead, just a little bit over, enough where you can fix that seam. And you're going to fix just a little bit right there. Progress, and make sure you always go around that corner no matter how uncomfortable it is. The less seams, the less risk of a water leak, and the less risk of it looking ugly as you do your presentation to your customer. Again, you want to once you get to the bottom, you want to make contact at kind of like an angle where the gun is kind of more towards you, to where the V gets a little bit tinier, and then you can easily seam that together. And as you can tell, we are done with the urethane. We're going to go back. My assistant's going to hand me something where I can connect the seams, and I'm just going to double check them to make sure that they look good. As you can tell, right there, close to the passenger side almost, more toward to the point where they won't be able to see it. Again, you want to shoot exactly onto that old urethane, not higher, not lower. You want to shoot exactly onto that old urethane line that was given to you, and make sure you do the best job you can of seaming those two together, because if one little hole in water will easily be able to sink in there. Again, we're going to check this last seam on the driver's side corner. I'm so sorry, again, you won't be able to see how I did that corner, but just make sure it's about 1 inch or 2 away from that corner, because if you make a seam on the corner, you run the chance of when you're decking it, of it all spewing out on that corner as well. So here comes the set. Luckily, like I said, I work with an assistant, so the set's going to be a lot more easier for us. I do recommend one person set at a time, so I'll set my side first and then kind of deck it, and I'll let him be able to set his side, be able to pull me. If this method's used, make sure you only have about half of an inch of spacing. Again, I'm going to go ahead and I left a little piece of tape there, so I'm going to go ahead and get that out of the way, because it's going to be a lot more annoying to clean off once you have the new glass in there. My side is nice and set. Go ahead and go put that tape together. Again, 2 strips of tape is recommended because gravity is not our friend when it comes to these Jeeps. The way these Jeeps glass sit, they do take more impact from rock and debris on the road, and also when you're sitting in a new windshield, gravity is going to want to push it down. So 2 strips is better than just 1 strip of paint. Go ahead and put that wiper down. That also helps in a way hold that glass. Add a little bit of weight to that glass against the body. Make sure you get a really good deck, and also double check that you get no spewing from that urethane. Take a step back and make sure you're even on the driver's side and the passenger side to make sure that glass is set correctly. In this occasion, I need to move it more to the left just a little bit. It's enough to where I can notice it, but again, you want perfection when it comes to this job. Jeeps have to be set in a very special way to where the spacing around the whole glass is even, or else it can and will be noticeable. We're going to go again, take another look at it. I'm going to take a look at the top and bottom, and the top and bottom look even. Left and right side should be set to go. Take those cups off. Those cups do add a little bit of weight to help it slide down. I'm just gonna double check the deck, put the antenna back on, and I will be taking off the cups in a little bit. I should have probably removed those right away before I put the antenna to help with that little bit of weight. But again, I am gonna look at it just to make sure it is set nicely. Again, make sure your customer wants to make it look just like it did before, or even better than it did before. Again, that was my error on that one, was not removing the cups, but luckily I did put 2 strips of tape, but those cups can be kind of heavy. Put the oil sticker back on. Go ahead and put the rearview mirror back on, slide it back on easily. Align it somewhat to where you can tighten the torque 15. Again, since you didn't fully loosen that bolt, it's only like about 2 turns. We're going to tighten it back up. We're going to give it a little bit of a shake to make sure that it is tight. As you can tell, I'm going to give it that little bit of shake, and it's nice and firm, and we are good to go with that rearview mirror. As you can see, I'm finally removing those suction cups. If you have any questions when it comes to how what type of wire and all that, feel free to let me know, guys. That wire is, again, just hand wire for a windshield wire we use, and the T-handles are just any type of handles. If you want to use some vice grips or some pliers, you can do that as well. If you do not have those types of T-handles, you can buy them off the Equalizer website or bought from your local auto glass supplier. They'll sell you some nice T-handles. Again, I was given some T-handles from my old company I used to work for. I actually have a few pairs of them. It's always good to have at least 2 pairs of T-handles for a wire, just in case you lose a portion of that T-handle. We're going to leave the tape on to the very end almost, just because gravity, again, is not your friend when it comes to this job, and you do not want it to move all the way down. They do sell some special clear clips that you can place underneath that windshield, but I don't like using the clips. I just don't want it to get stuck, or for to make any type of contact with the new urethane, because since the urethane's fresh, you run the risk of it getting dirty and then having to do a whole cleanup. Overall, simple job. Appreciate you guys watching. Again, make sure you guys give a like, and then also make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hopefully this was a great explanation and video of how to remove and install a windshield on a 2007 through 2018 Jeep Wrangler. Again, if no accessories are on that windshield, it should be an easy installation. Have your customer remove the light bar and any brackets if he was the one that put them on, or explain to him that they will have to be removed, because trying to install with all that stuff in the way can be difficult. Again, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to message me, and hope again you guys enjoyed this. Have a great day, and later.